なアルとマイクみたいになりたい。でも電話してくれない。オークランドとブックレンドから世界チャンピオンバーチャルプローズ始まるよ。バーチャルプローズ。
To my motherfucking man, 50 grand, the alcoholic man, inject a tall can in his bloodstream if he can. Biggie Smalls, the 50 stroker, MC provoker, chocolate tie smoker, huh? I like to max and Maximas and Acuras. Your girl butt cheeks, I'm smacking, huh? The raw rapper, spine snapper, with the little, cause on my lap, a shot, the but I ain't your fucking comforter. And if I ever fall in love, I bet I'm fucking her. Ask the if I didn't choke her. If she try to front, then I drop the Chucky book.
Episode 39 of the Virtual Pros Podcast. My name is Al, a.k.a. Henny Omega, a.k.a. True McIntyre, a.k.a. Flocka Michinoku, a.k.a. Buji Nagata, a.k.a. Reckless Ute, a.k.a. Yayokea, a.k.a. The Bandman. And with me is Mike.
Hey, motherfuckers, it's Mike, a.k.a. Squirt Angle, a.k.a. Ramen Reigns, a.k.a. Sticky Fuji, a.k.a. The Human Kiss Card.
Today's topic, the Virtual Pros review professional wrestling's hottest clothing lines. Hit us on Instagram and Twitter at VRTL Pros. Hit us on SoundCloud. Hit that heart. You know I like it. Hit us on iTunes. Leave a review. Subscribe if you haven't already. It'd be appreciated. Mike, we have a ton of emails. You mind starting off with one of them?
Sure. I don't know if it's really a ton. Was the first one from Brian? Let's see. Where do we go?
6. No, the first
Deo.
one.
Deo, yes.
No, wait.
No.
Yeah, you're right.
Quincy.
Oh, yeah, Quincy. Quincy, you're up, man.
Sorry. John's for Virtual Bros. Okay.
Yeah.
That's for Virtual. Okay, so Quincy is the first one. Okay, Quincy, I believe, does a podcast called Rank and Vile that I will be on next week, so I'll talk about that later or something. But the subject is wearing a WWE diet, asking for it. Hey guys, I wanted to get your take on wearing pro wrestling t-shirts in your daily lives. I have quite a few wrestling tees, and although I want people to recognize them, more often than not I get into cringy conversations at Walmart and the post office about how Sami Zayn deserves better booking, or I'm being asked to give someone a too sweet in line for the urinal. Am I being too picky? When I was at AIW, somebody too sweeted me, and I was like, I was so drunk that I was just like, whatever, dude. But like, yeah, he was like, yo, that shirt's awesome. Let me get a too sweet, and I was just like, ugh.
What shirt are you wearing?
I was wearing that Mr. Pogo shirt. So man. I mean, it's a sweet shirt, but some other guy also called me, he might listen to the podcast because I gave him some stickers later. He also called me the coolest person in the world for that shirt, which is a little too crazy, but whatever. Am I being too picky? Should I wear more obscure Pro Graps merch? I'd love your input. Best, Quincy, aka Adrian Nevtrill, aka Kazuwada Higuchi Gucci, aka Road Warrior Hawkward. I mean, I've always been, I don't really wear WWE shirts. I just got that Asuka shirt. That's the first WWE shirt I've worn in public. And I don't know, probably since DX was a thing. But yeah, I try, like, even if it's not even wrestling stuff, I always try and get shirts that are, that are not going to start conversations in public, basically. Like, outside of that's a cool shirt, like, that's as much as I want. I don't, when people are like, oh, what's that for? Then I'm just like, oh, God. But that New Japan Pro Wrestling hoodie, I wear that because it's in, like, an outerwear. And people are always like, what's that stand for? Like, New Jersey something? And I'm just like, then I tell them what it stands for. And, they're just like, oh. And I'm just like, yeah, I know. Like, yeah. It's you asked, so you got the answer.
Yeah, I think out of the week, I'd probably wear a wrestling shirt. Yeah, probably every weekend for sure. I remember getting like a takeout order from like this English pub down the street. I was getting a little sandwich, and I was wearing my Great Muta t-shirt. And I pick up my order, and she was like, that's a cool t-shirt. And I was like, well, thank you. And I was so happy she didn't give me that follow-up of like, where's it from? So she kind of let me live, and I was like, thank God, because I didn't want to explain it. But yeah, I don't really rock WWE t-shirts too often. I mean, not to sound like an elitist. I have the Dallas 316 t-shirt that I'll wear every so often, but like, Just wear wrestling t-shirts that aren't so obviously wrestling. I don't know.
Yeah. I know it's tough with WWE because it's like they put their shit all over the place, so it's very hard to get a subtle one. That's why I snatched up that Asuka shirt, because it's like there's no logos or anything on it.
Did they stop doing the patch on the bottom right-hand corner that's like authentic wear?
I don't think so. I bought that other Asuka shirt, but I never even opened it. I don't even know where it is anymore, but I think they might still do that. I don't know.
Yeah, I remember for a while they were doing that shit, and that made me like never want to buy their merch because that patch was the fucking worst.
That's such a dorky thing.
Yo, this is authentic. The next email is from Deo Day, fellow Bay Area resident, titled "Coolest Ghoul, Uncle or Scumbag." What up, Virtual Pros? First off, I'd like to thank Al for offering to meet me at El Farolito to pick up the dope shirt. If Al wants to get drunk at Public House before or have a beer on the warning track inside the Gotham Club during batting practice at AT&T Park, let me know. I will let you know. Anyways, last Sunday, my best friend brought his fiance's nephews over to watch WrestleMania. After that lame-ass main event match, my boy told me to put on King of the Ring 98 to show the kids the Hell in a Cell match where Undertaker throws Mankind off the cage. The eldest boy's jaw was nearly on the floor through the entire match, and when it was over, he said he wanted to watch more matches like that. So today, I ordered him a King of the Deathmatch DVD off of eBay, and needless to say, I know his mom is going to be pissed. But am I a cool ghoul or a scumbag for exposing a 10-year-old to such anarchy? Y'all decide. As always, peace and love. Deo. My name is pronounced Deo, by the way. Yeah, I got you, man. AKA Sexual Harassment Chocolate, AKA Hardcore Straight Edge Holly, AKA Erwin R. Scheiser, aka my Filipino-ass mom, confiscated my WWF Aggression CD for saying shit out loud. Damn, what track was that? Are you a ghoul for buying King of the Deathmatch for your 10-year-old? Wait, how are you related to this person? It's your fiance's nephew? Man, I never had an uncle like that. I don't think you are, because at 10, I was like pretty exposed to really bad shit. Like I was listening to The Chronic at 10, and that kind of fucked me up forever. King of the Deathmatch nowadays is kind of tame, so I don't think you're a ghoul. I mean, you might be like teetering the line, but I'm not going to call you a ghoul for that. What do you think?
Oh, this is one of my favorite emails ever, I think. I think this is so cool, but I wouldn't say it's tame, though. I would say, like, if you were 10 and you never saw wrestling like that, your mind would be fucking blown, because, I mean, my mind was blown at, like, 16 or 17 or whatever, so...
yeah, but I mean, that was, like, in 1997, and, like, people have Twitter these days, and kids, like, all they do is just send each other, like, awful photos of, like, themselves. So I don't know, man. 2017, thumbtacks? I don't know.
Yeah, I still think that's really cool, and you're not a ghoul at all, though, either way. Next up is from Brian. It's titled Wrestlers Swindling Fans. Oh, I asked people to write in about this, because I was thinking about maybe doing a whole episode about it, but we didn't really get enough emails for that to get off the ground. So maybe in the future, though, we'll collect all these wrestler swindling stories. Anyways, hey guys, I don't know if this is a case of myself being swindled or just a case of bad luck, but Sonny Ono recently sold me a WCW Nitro Grill polo. Came across a shit ton of these things out of nowhere on eBay, so imagine my surprise when the package shows up with Ono's name on the package. He even threw in an autographed 8x10. Anyways, it took one wash before it completely disintegrated into a pile of tattered garbage. The guy probably had it shelved in his garage for 17 years before I paid him $30 for it. I ain't mad at him, though. The Goldberg shirt I bought a week later held up. One last thing. Growing up, Mark Von Erich was a good family friend to my mom and grandparents. The dude was a nice guy to me, well before I ever really knew much about pro wrestling. I didn't discover until about 3 years ago that he was a total fucking fraud and was a fake Von Erich based out of Houston. Seems real weird to think about that now. And he included a picture of him with Booker T, and he's obviously not a Von Erich. But.
Yeah, he looks like John Ritter.
Yeah.
The only, like, person I know that was faking the funk about being related to someone, like, didn't Silas Young say he was, like, related to Stan Hansen?
Oh, I don't know. One of my favorite wrestlers of all time, C.W. Anderson, pretended he was related to the Andersons. And, yeah, he is like one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, so. But I knew he wasn't really an Anderson.
He had a good spine buster. Had me fooled. The next email is from Jay Justice. What up, Jay? What's good, Alan Mike? Oh, the title is, Weird Wrestling Conspiracies. I found out about you guys a few months back, and I've been a fan ever since. Thank you. It's great to know that I'm not the only one that finds so much to be weird as fuck about this wild-ass world of craps. Speaking of which, I was checking out some videos on YouTube and was searching long enough to get to the weird part of wrestling YouTube and saw one that was called WWE WrestleMania 33 Illuminati Exposed. I knew it was going to be hilarious, but damn. The dude spends the majority of the video doing the usual conspiracy theorist bullshit of finding a symbol in every little thing that he could possibly find about WrestleMania, and then shifts into Bible thumping and preaches on how he's saving people's souls and how they should just donate to his Patreon. The video was crazy as hell, and I was surprised to see that there was so much out there just like it. Since this kind of stuff seems to be a bit more commonplace than I realized, have you guys ever come across any crazy ass wrestling conspiracy theories? And if so, what are the weirdest ones you've ever seen? Keep being the dopest wrestling podcast out there. Jay, aka Sasha Poe-Up Dranks, aka Ricky Sparks, aka Aaron Solo Dolo. P.S. Can't wait to get litty with y'all at Virtual Con West. I don't think Mike's going.
Hell no.
I'm going. He's not going.
Definitely not.
Weird wrestling conspiracies. I can't really think of anything off top aside from Ricky Dozan getting stabbed up by Yakuza, but
I don't know. That's not a conspiracy. That's true though, right?
Is that true?
As far as I know, I mean, it's
Wasn't
written
that like a conspiracy where he got stabbed and then 2 hours later he was partying? I don't know what the full story is, but I can't really think of what
he got stabbed. He got stabbed with a knife covered in pee.
Yeah.
And he just walked it off. He was like, "Fuck it, I just got stabbed, big deal." And then the pee killed him from the knife. But I mean, it's always written like it's fact, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how he died. That's the only one I can think of on top.
Oh, I have two good examples with accompanying video, but they're not obscure or anything. These are common stupid wrestler conspiracies. The first one is one time I was looking for a Virtual Pros video, and I never I was like, I'll get back to this and put this on a mixtape in the future, but I forgot the titling of it. But there's a 9 or 10 part YouTube video series about Chris Benoit murder conspiracies.
Oh, no.
And I don't know if the whole thing is about it or just the part that I stumbled on, but it's about how Kevin Sullivan really did it. And I really love that conspiracy that people it doesn't matter if it's just wrestling, but any fandom you get into, you can't imagine your heroes can do any wrong. So you just make up the most ridiculous shit and you think you believe in it. And it's even dumber when it comes with wrestling. Every wrestler's a saint or something. So, I like that one. And like I said, there's video. I'm sure if you typed in Chris Benoit conspiracy on YouTube, this might pop up. The other one, of course, is that Bret Hart, and Vince McMahon's Screwjob was a work. And, that somebody made a documentary about this fucking 8 or 9 years ago now, maybe even 10 years ago. But before it came out, they promoted it as if it was going to be like Wrestling with Shadows quality documentary. And it turned out just to be a dude holding a camcorder and recording all these wrestlers, asking them what they think if Bret Hart really did it or not. And it's 4 hours long, and they released this as a shoot, an RF shoot video or something. And it's the most agonizing thing to watch. And you're just this is so fucking dumb. Before that, I almost kind of believed. I was like, it's fucking wrestling. It probably is fake. But after watching that video that's supposed to prove to you that maybe it really did happen, I know that was all real for now.
It's not a conspiracy, but it's more of an urban legend, I guess. But I think the craziest one I've heard is when Owen fell, they said that Earl Hebner pocketed his teeth. I don't know if that's real or not. If you want to write in and let me know if that happened, virtualpros64@gmail.com.
Yeah.
But, no conspiracy talk for me. I don't know. You're up next.
Next up is from Brad. The title is Gunt. I think he just wanted me to say that out loud, probably. Hey gang, long time, first time. I think that's a lie. I think Brad wrote in before.
Yo, you've wrote in before.
Yeah.
He wrote about Hayabusa, doing that Marlon kick about standing up.
Right. Have you guys heard Vince Russo's amazing new podcast show? I think it's called Vince Calls Every Other Wrestling Podcaster a Homo. Listen, I know Ryback is a dumpster fire, but Russo is a straight up landfill fire. Any thoughts? Plan on being guests of the brand anytime soon? I love you, Brad, aka John Radshaw Slayfield, aka Token Get Hardy, aka Golga, the actual dude that is Golga. For real, I swear. Brad is actually a rapper in real life, so that John Bradshaw Slayfield comes probably from his rap training, 'cause that's a really good one. Yeah, I heard, like, I just always assumed Vince Russo had a podcast for like the last 10 years, and I just, like, I didn't know that this was new. But yeah, there's no way I'll ever listen to that. Like, I hate that guy.
Yeah, man. I think the only Vince Russo clip I've seen of him, like, podcasting was him trying to pronounce Japanese wrestler names.
Yeah.
I did hear that he was calling other wrestling podcasters homosexuals. That's not very nice, but no, I'll never tune into Vince Russo talking. It's not for me. The last email is from Cole. What up, Cole? The title is Underwhelming Championship Changes. Virtual Pros. Over the last month, there have been 2 championship changes that have been underwhelming to me. First was the Evolve title, switching from Tim Thatcher to Zack Sabre Jr. I only find this underwhelming because I really enjoy the Thatcher and Stokely Hathaway Dream Team, but they're keeping that up, so I guess that one's alright. Second was the Chikara Grand Championship, going from Ultra Mantis Black to Juan Francisco de Coronado. I love both these guys, cute champ, but I think Mantis's run was too short. With that being said, what are some championship changes that were underwhelming to you? Either in WWE, Japan, or Indie. Thanks. Keep up the banging work. The IGN podcast been killing it, but you already knew that. Yeah, we know. Cole, aka Rexy Joey P, aka Hash Shishako, aka Cassius Outside, aka Notorious BB. Topical, the last underwhelming championship change was when Randy Orton fucked me and won the title at WrestleMania. Anytime Randy Orton wins the title, I always groan, but this time I definitely groaned. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, I can't think of anything that exciting, but I do have an exciting story that relates to this email. I was there live for the Timothy Thatcher, Zack Sabre Jr. Evolve title change, and we didn't talk about it on the show because that week we did a Virtual Bros instead. And then by the time it was time to recap it, I was like, who fucking cares? It happened like 4 weeks ago. But, so I was there live, and I didn't know because the internet still really seems to like Zack Sabre Jr. a lot, but he does have his detractors in real life and Evolve, like dudes who just like hate how he wrestles and shit. And, Timothy Thatcher is also a person who's like been pretty unwell liked. So it was really interesting to watch that because it was like people were just like hate cheering and hate booing at the same time. I saw like this dude almost get into a fight over Tim Thatcher versus Zack Sabre Jr. at like Evolve. Like, I don't know. It was like weird because like the one guy was like chanting something about Zack Sabre sucking. And like the other dude took like offense to it. And I was like, dude, this is fucking wrestling, man. Like, I can't believe I'm seeing this right now. Like, how are you going to how are you going to puff your chest out for a fucking wrestler? That's insane. And yeah, so that was weird. And it was super shocking when Tim Thatcher lost because he had the belt for so long. But, I didn't think it was underwhelming. I don't really give a shit who has the belt. I thought Randy Orton winning the belt was great though.
Fuck off. That's all the emails we got. Let's get into Two-Man Scramble. My first one, lead off with a softball. So today I opened up my package that Mike sent me. I got the Muda Sakai t-shirts, looked at them. I was like, damn, we did that. That shit is tight. And then Mike, reposted episode 25, listened to it at work, and I was like, damn, we're fucking funny. So Mike, do you ever just sit back and think about how good we are at this entire thing? Because I do.
I do a lot, and it's really weird because I know, like, you know, this is a podcast, I'm doing, like, a little of a character than I am in real life, but at the same time, I'm, like, I am incredibly, like, low-key and humble. I don't like talking about shit I do in real life at all. Like, I just, like, it's no big deal to me for doing shit. But I do, like, I am, like, holy shit, like, we really are the best wrestling podcast. Like, I listen to them, and I'm very incredibly hard on myself. I hate everything I do. I'm one of those dramatic babies when it comes to, like, creative shit. And I'm just like, no, like, you know, objectively, we are the best. Like, we're just like, we're the best. Like, I can't find a better podcast than us. So yeah, I think about it a lot.
Dude, me too. Like, I was listening to myself talk and I was like, man, I'm fucking charming. I'm so funny. That's me. I did that. I put on my 450 Degrees t-shirt the other day and I was like, fuck, I had a hand in this. I'm so good. Man, I really like being a virtual pro, dude. It's a really big thing in my life right now. Up next, very topical, Shibata Okada. What'd you think?
Oh, I thought it was so fucking good. Oh my god. It was so brutal. It was so gross. I watched it alone, and there was like parts where I was just like, like just like out loud, like when he fucking did that Rainmaker slap, I was just like, fuck.
Yeah.
There was some like brutal shots. There was like at least two different rounds of them just like hitting super sick forearms into each other's faces.
Yes.
Like, I don't know how those dudes aren't bruised the fuck up after that. Yeah, I thought that was like I think I probably like that better than Okada Omega, but it's not like, I don't think it's, leagues better or anything. I think that's just way more my style.
I thought this match was fucking incredible. I didn't watch it live. I made it a point to watch it after a full night's rest. Cause over here, like, I'd have to watch that match at 3:30 in the morning, and I think I just get too tired. I think that's the reason why I think Omega Okada initially, like the first 20 minutes were so slow, because it was 4:30 in the morning. I was fucking tired. So I might need to watch that match again. But I love the entire story of this match. Shibata just outclassed him, and Okada just having to kind of like grit his way to a win. But must watch. Do you feel any kind of remorse in enjoying this, like with all the news coming out with Shibata like being in the hospital, possibly almost dying? Like, does it make you like uneasy about liking it? Like, I don't know what I'm trying to say here.
Well, I don't want to get too into wrestling podcast newsy shit, but like, no one knows if it's still real or fake, right? Like, some people still think it's fake, some people still think it's real. Like, I don't know. Yeah,
Dave said, he said that it's a work. I'm not sure what to believe, but
it doesn't seem like, because they don't do stuff like that, and if they did, it wouldn't be like, they wouldn't make up this fucking horrifying blood brain disease to be like, oh yeah, because like, if that's fake, that's just like kind of some fucked up shit. As far as enjoying it, I made like, in one of the private wrestling groups I'm in, we're talking about it, and I made a joke immediately after it happened that, Shibata's going to be putting his dogs in the garage by the pool area like very soon. And then like 2 days later, it's just like he has a brain disease, and it's just like, yeah, or the enclosed pool area. There we go. But yeah, like, so maybe I cursed him. I don't know, but like, he knows what the fuck he's doing, man. Like he's old enough. He's not 21. When you're like 23 and you do dumb shit, you have an excuse. But when you're in your 30s, it's just like, dude, you know the repercussions at this point.
Yeah, that man is 37, I think. If that was his last match, what a match to go out on. My last question I had for you, like, can you think of any reason why Okada doesn't get the props he deserves? Like, I feel like people just don't want to say he's the best.
He just doesn't have a gimmick that really grabs Americans. So it's like, he has the wrestling, and it's not like he's a plain, like, hard man, like Shibata or anything. Like, he doesn't even have that gimmick. He just has, like, this weird sort of half gimmick of being a rich, like, pretty boy.
Yeah.
And, it just doesn't translate in America, I don't think.
Does it translate for you? Like,
I don't really care. Like, yeah, I don't really care. He's such a good wrestler that I don't really give a shit that he has, like, kind of a lame gimmick for Americans, at least. Like I said, it might be amazing in Japanese, but, like, it's kind of just, like, goes over my head.
I think I'm with you. I will say Okada, to me, best in the world, 2 years running for sure. Last one, kind of like a half thought. So say someone debuts a gimmick and like they cut their promos in ASMR voice. Do you think they'd be an all-time babyface or like the hottest heel in 2017?
Would they point it out though? Would they be like, this is ASMR?
No, they would just like get on like a very special mic, and like you would hear like all of like the snaps and ticks of like their mouth, and like I can't stop thinking about it. Like, what if Peyton Royce did this and like the entire NXT crowd was just wildly horny? Like, do you think they'd be mad at this? Do you think they'd just be happy? I don't know.
Oh yeah,
I think it's like a money gimmick.
I didn't think about it that way. I would say yes. If a female did it, she would be 100% face. If a male did it, he would be like 100% bad guy, because it'd be so creepy if a guy did it.
Yeah, if someone takes that gimmick, please pay us. I feel like that's just money in the bank. That's all I had.
Okay, first up, Virtual Con. It's happening. We got tickets. So we're gonna be there. We're gonna be in the fucking AAW, Chicago, Logan Square Auditorium, May 6th. If you want to come hang out, I'm sure we'll be hanging out afterwards, because I think the show gets over at like 10. So that's still plenty of time to hang out. So, yeah, Virtual Con in Chicago. Let us know if you want to go. Just email us, blah, blah, blah. I was thinking, I don't know why I wrote this down. It was funny at the time, but, can we start calling, instead of saying listeners or friends or stuff, can we just start referring to everybody, as a blanket term, the Virtual Pros Universe? Can we do that? Because like WWE does it. And it sounds really professional when they do it. So I think instead of saying our friends, we have to say the Virtual Pros Universe from now on.
Well, I've kind of like toyed with it. Like I know Beyonce has the Bayhive. I've been toying with the idea of calling our fans Vert Bags, but Virtual Pros Universe. Yeah, maybe.
Let us know. Do you guys want to be the Virtual Pros Universe, or do you want to be Vert Bags? Let us know. Everybody's favorite recurring segment, the Instagrammer of the week, is Shuri Official. This is SYURI_official. I don't know how long Al has been creeping on this girl, but I noticed her, and what? I finally looked at her. What? I didn't add her. Don't ask me like I added her.
That's just the official page of Siri, man.
Yes, okay, I know. And so I don't know who the fuck that is. That's my point. I finally looked at her profile, and she's like, she's a kickboxer or something. Who the fuck knows? Anyways, I just think she's really cute, and I'd like to give her a hug. She's very cute.
That's Hikaru Shida's tag team partner, half Filipino, half Japanese. Siri, if you're listening, konbanwa.
Oh, it's the same girl? Why does it say kickboxer or anything? Is she afraid to admit she's a wrestler?
Well, I think she started off as a Joshi, and then she signed on to fight for Pancrase. And so I think it's a little more honorable to be an MMA fighter than a women's wrestler. That's my guess.
That is probably true. We'll get into the honors of women's wrestling later in the mixtape. Got a lot of things to get off my chest. I have another new recurring segment. One of the reasons I pulled up that episode 25 this morning or this afternoon was because I wanted to see how long our friend and the Virtual Pros Universe, Welf, has been asking Steve Payne for a t-shirt, and it's been 7 months. And so I'm starting the Josh Welf Steve Payne t-shirt watch to see how long, because I've been telling Welf for 7 months he's never getting this t-shirt. And like, he was like, you better and then I told him I was making a segment about it, and he was like, you better start it soon because I'm getting it. And so here we are. This is the first installment of the Josh Welf t-shirt watch. It's been 7 months. Hopefully there will be a part 2 in the next episode.
Yo, Josh, how did you pay this guy? Mike, how did he pay him?
Okay, so this is how it happened. I'll tell the whole story. Not that it's really exciting, but the first AIW we went to, Bloodsport, Steve Payne was there, and Welf, like, tweeted him. He was like, yo, why didn't you come out after the show? I would have bought a t-shirt off you. And he was like, oh, next time. And so, like, blah, 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 blah. This keeps going, and then, like, after, like, 4 months, Steve Payne got like actual t-shirts made, and he was like, yo, just PayPal me money. $30, by the way. PayPal me money, and I'll send you a t-shirt. And that was 3 months ago. And then like the last time I told that story was we went to AIW a few weeks ago, and he was like, yeah, I didn't have the size. And then like, so Welf has been busting his balls since then on Twitter, asking him for this t-shirt that he's never going to get. But I just want to put it out there.
Yo, Welf, you have 180 days, I feel like. PayPal offers you to get a refund. You could do that, but I think for comedy's sake, just eat the loss. Like, this is a really funny segment. You're never gonna get your t-shirt.
No.
Fuck the Mets. Not gonna happen.
How much? Okay, I'm gonna cut this a little short. I had 2 reviews. I went to CZW. I'll get to that. It'll be the main event. But first off, WrestleMania has happened since last time we spoke. And in order to watch all the stuff that happened WrestleMania weekend that wasn't WWE, I bought Flow Slam, and I've used Flow Slam before, but maybe I didn't use it the most honorable way, so I didn't feel comfortable enough about giving them a little on-air review here. Flow Slam's kind of trash. Like, it's just gonna be straight up for like $20. It's like, I don't know, man. You've used Flow Slam though. How do you feel?
I've only watched like a live show on Flow Slam, It wasn't very good. I feel like the players stuttered a lot. I didn't bother to really check the backlog, but I mean, from the experience or two that I've had, I wasn't very impressed.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't say like the videos always worked fine for me. That's not my problem with it. It's just like, yeah, it's just that like there's like not a lot of stuff. Like the like, and I know like I used to work for a fledgling like streaming service, so I know it's a pain in the ass to do all this shit. But like they don't have like an app. Like there's not a lot of content. It's real hard to navigate the website. It's just like for $20 a month, that's asking a lot. At the same time, independent wrestling is almost like a porn fetish, and I'm sure porn fetish sites cost $20 a month still. So I guess it's the same thing, but it's just like it's pretty underwhelming. So hopefully they get their shit together though, because it's a cool idea.
That's the thing, right? Like, you can get WWE Network and New Japan, which is like 300 years of content for less than $20 a month.
Yeah.
I think that's the better deal. I'm not sure.
I mean, yeah, I understand, like, when you're starting out, but at the same time, I guess they have all these other channels, like, weightlifting and, like, wrestling, and why don't you just include all that for $20 a month? Like, it seems ridiculous.
Huh.
Anyways, yeah, that's whatever. It's just, like, if you guys are looking to get Flow Slam and you haven't used it yet, just make sure you really, really want to watch whatever you're trying to watch, because you're probably not going to use it much after that.
High Spots Network is pretty tight, actually. I'll give High Spots their props. They're good.
Yeah, they have a ton of shit because they have tons and tons of content. But
yep.
Flow Slam, not so much yet. I also think they were counting on getting way many more promotions than they did, so I think that might be the problem. Finally, yeah, I went to CZW Decisions this Saturday in Voorhees, New Jersey. I went with Adam, aka CZW fans, and I just wanted to talk about my trip and review the wrestling, a little road report. So we went down there, like I met Adam in his town, and then we drove the rest of the way. And beforehand, we went to a place in Maple Shade, New Jersey called Jay's Elbow Room, it was a kind of bar you'd never expect anybody like under the age of 45 to be in, like just like that type of like old man bar. And, I love those bars. So I was like, this is fucking awesome. It was great. Got a little buzz on, and, I was outside at one point smoking a cigarette, and these girls, like these 4 girls, like stop in their car. This is in a parking lot, and they're like, you know, like 20 feet away from me, and they're like, hey, excuse me. And I live in New York, so I never look up anytime anybody says anything. Like, I don't want to ever fucking talk to anybody, but they're not from New York, so they're not going to go away. So they're like, hey, excuse me. And I finally look up and I'm like, what? And they say something to me like, do you like to glow or something like that? And I was like, the fuck are you saying to me? Like, I didn't like understand what they were saying to me. And like the other one was like, oh, we have like a small business and we just want to give you free samples. And I was just like, I was drunk. So I was like, I like free samples. So, it was fucking cologne. And I was just like, okay. And they're like, tell me about, like, they're like, this is the blah, 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 blah. And I was like, whatever. And they sprayed it on my arm, and I was like, and then like, they're like, this is the blah, 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 blah. And they sprayed it like on my other arm, and I was just like, And, they were like, well, and this like bottle is like so much money. I was like, listen, I'm not buying anything off of you. And then like, they were like, yeah, we know. And I was just like, then why are we even like doing this right now? Like, and like, I walked away and I didn't think about it, and I just reeked of this fucking gross cologne for the rest of the night. 2 different types of gross cologne. And I was just like, fuck. So then we left the bar, and, this CZW takes place in a place called the Flyers Skate Zone, which is it's an ice hockey rink, but the wrestling takes place in like a side room. And, so while deathmatch wrestling is going on, there's just like families skating in the next room, and there's like kids running around and stuff. So it's a real weird dichotomy, but at the same time, they don't serve alcohol here. So we stopped at a liquor store to buy like little booze to put in like Coke and stuff. And, I'm real bad at shit like this. So I got something called peach pecan brandy, because that was the only whiskey nips they had on the counter. And It was real gross. Yeah, it was real gross. If you guys see peach pecan brandy, I don't remember the brand, but don't ever buy it. So then I spilled some of that on myself. So now I smelled like cologne and, this fucking peach pecan brandy. And, so I smelled real awesome going into CZW. It's the first time I've ever seen CZW live, to be like completely honest. Before this, I've probably seen more old CZW people in like Big Japan death matches than I have like actual CZW. So I was like pumped. I was like, man, I get to see this for the first time. And it was like, I was fucking so wrecked that like, I don't really remember if it was great wrestling. I don't think it was. I do remember, and I don't mean this in an insulting way, anybody listening out there from CZW, but I do notice they had a higher amount of wrestlers that looked like they had a lot of strong politics about race relations more than other wrestling promotions. But, you know, like, I'm a highly liberal guy, so, you know, I was just like, there's still like sketchy ass dudes in CZW. That's pretty sweet. Cause like, you don't see sketchy ass dudes that much in wrestling. I don't know. Like, I don't watch wrestling with sketchy ass dudes. So one of the first experiences I had of live CZW was, some sketchy ass dudes, throwing a woman through a door. So I was just like, well, that's CZW. I got to see Leo Rush, and me and Adam were yelling, he's too young to wrestle the whole time. But we were too far away. Then when they were smashing the woman through the door, I wish we were closer for this because I just kept screaming, she's somebody's daughter. But like, no one heard me. I did notice while they were throwing this woman through this door, this is a door set up on the turnbuckle, by the way. This is not like a door connected to a room. They just use doors instead of tables. I don't fucking know. Yeah. But, so I did notice a man hold up his son closer so he could see it closer, like hold up his like 7-year-old son, like, here, son, see this woman get smashed through this door. It was pretty sick. Then we snuck our way into some front row seats, and that's when it was like awesome because I was just like, oh, this is good. We're like sitting, we're like up close. David Starr wrestled old PWG vet Scorpio Sky. And, that was like the one, like, you know, like real ass, like wrestling match, like wrestlers wrestling type match. And it was cool. And that David Starr dude jumped on me and he was real sweaty. And then I just had like dude sweat and cologne and this fucking peach pecan brandy all over me. So my train ride home was great. I smelled awful, but, I saw a thumbtack match. It was okay. That dude, Emil, that I don't know if you listen to our podcast, but he follows us on Twitter and buys shirts. He gave me some souvenir thumbtacks to take home that I was so drunk. I don't know where I put them. So there's just random deathmatch thumbtacks somewhere in my room.
Hopefully in the trash, dude. You're going to get hepatitis.
Yeah, that was a dumb idea. I was fucking out of it, but, and then I saw like tables, ladders. Oh, a barbed wire match was pretty cool. People bleeding. It was awesome. Mm-hmm. And I saw a tables, ladders, and cheers match, and it was all great. It was a fun time. I recommend CZW to anybody that can sneak their way into front row seats and just sit there and watch these guys, these maniacs, do all this weird shit to each other. I'll definitely hopefully be there in August for the Onita thing if that happens.
Yeah, shout out to Brian and the other dude, Ang, right? Didn't she like get drinks with them too?
Oh yeah, Angelo, yeah. Brian, yeah, I forgot, man. Yeah, there's intermission, yeah, because you have to be a degenerate and drink outside, and they hooked it up with beers outside, so that was a lifesaver.
So did you have the same kind of bloodlust, like you experienced at AIW, like this time around? Was it like more enhanced? Like how'd you feel about it this time around, seeing thumbtacks and barbed wire?
I'm just getting so desensitized to it now that it's just gonna be like my regular everyday life soon.
You're cool.
Like I'm not gonna like want to go see it, but I'm just gonna be like, that's a thing that happens in real life.
Dog, so I went to Hood Slam one time last year, and this dude bladed in front of me, and he was running around in the crowd, and I swear to God, I've never been more scared in my life because this dude was just leaking, and like if anyone got blood on me, man, I would have sued. Like, that is inappropriate. I could not deal going to CZW, dude. I'm soft. I'll fucking admit it.
You know, like, honestly, on a scale of 1 to 10, as far as deathmatch stuff goes, it wasn't that bad. Like, it wasn't shit we've watched before. If it was that bad, I'd probably be a little more grossed out. Like, the thumbtack match, I don't even know if there was blood in it. And the barbed wire match was the pretty usual amount of blood. Like, it wasn't like fucking faces completely red or anything like that.
Oh, man. No syringes?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, I would leave.
Yeah, it wasn't any of that kind of. I would have liked to have seen that. So hey, maybe next time.
Jesus Christ. Up next, the merch review. What did I call this? The Virtual Pros review professional wrestling's hottest clothing lines. Please stay tuned.
Okay, and welcome back to Virtual Pros episode 39, and this is our little merch report card that we're about to do, highlighting some of the hottest names in wrestling merch right now, as far as wrestlers go. And this was kind of an idea I had because I wanted to do this like more of like a blog, not a blog, no one reads blogs anymore, but like on the Instagram or like something like that, but like I hate when I look at an Instagram and there's so many words. I'm just like, get a fucking journal, man. So like, it's okay every once in a while if you have something to say like once every month. But when you're just pumping out hundreds of words at once, it's just like, okay, dude. But anyway, so I was like, I'm never going to be able to do this idea because it's a visual thing. But I mean, we could sort of do it. These are all popular people that people know and they're aware of their merchandise. So it's not like some underground shit. So yeah, we're just going to go over some popular names, 5 of them in total. Well, 2 of them are groups, and we're just going to, I guess, rate their merch overall, their merch presence. The first person is Finn Balor, one of my favorites, of course. And, overall, like, since he's gone to WWE, I think a lot of the merch that you see that, he has is pretty good. If you go to his WWE shop page, there's a lot of stuff that you don't see as often that's not the best. Like, that whole nerds line they have is just, I mean, I know that's probably for teens or something, so
that acronym is so rough. You know the acronym for that shit?
No, I have no idea.
No one ever really respects dorks. Like,
God.
If you're, like, Stanford, if you're listening, like, let us cook. I promise you I will sell you t-shirts. These shirts stink. Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's fine. But yeah, I mean, that's a given for every WWE person. Those shirts stink. He has another one that's like super twizzy, and it's the Summon the Demon shirt, which is just like, and then he has the 5 years ago streetwear hoodie with like the demon patterned on it, and you put the hood up and it's his face, and it's that would have been like real hot 5 years ago, but I still give him credit for making it. And it's only $30, which is a pretty decent deal for a zip up hoodie.
Yeah, it's on clearance.
Yeah, because probably no one bought it because it has a stupid hood on it. His most damning thing is of course, the fake leather jacket that they sell for, I believe, $150. You have to be the biggest nerd ever that no one ever really respects if you buy that thing because, I don't fucking know. Well, you have to be a Finn Balor maniac to want to buy that thing. But I like that new shirt a lot. I like the Balor Club shirt. I think all of his merch outside of, I mean, even the Twizzy stuff, it all kind of has its own identity, and that's always good. So, I mean, overall, I would give him like a solid B plus for his merch.
Okay. I mean, aside from like that full zip Bape hoodie, like to me, like this might be the most like real world wearable line the WWE has made like in years.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I think like the Balor Club, like the bulletproof graphics that they're using are super clean. Like it's not a very obvious like this is wrestling t-shirt. And I will say that like I think it's a smart move to do that replica biker jacket for all the cosplay boys out there. Like I think they're gonna sell like these jackets through the roof, and I really think like with all like the chalk line like retros, like we might be like in a golden era of like wrestling outerwear. Like I'm not even being sarcastic. Like kudos to the WWE. Like I'm gonna give the Balor line an A. Like I would wear that Balor Club shirt, the new one. Like, it's clean. Like, it doesn't look like it's a wrestling tee. Like, they're doing a pretty solid job. And although, like, the teeth, like, t-shirts, I probably wouldn't wear. Like, they fit Balor's character so well. So I think they're really focused on making this line pretty solid. So A for me. Up next, I guess let's go New Japan. So next up is the Los Ingobernables de Japón line. I think the 2016, like, LIJ merch, like, it was on pace to become, like, the best of all time. Like, I thought the baseball jerseys were nice. I have one of them. Like, the logo tees, like, I wear that t-shirt, like, every weekend. Like, I think it's super clean. It's not like this is wrestling t-shirt. And I think the outerwear, for the most part, has been pretty solid. Like, sans that, Keep Calm hoodie. That hoodie sucked. And those shorts are bad, too. But I feel like this year, like, they're putting up, like, a lot of bricks. Like, that signature Hiromu tee, like, the ticking time bomb tee, that t-shirt sucks. Like, this might only make sense to me, but, like, that shirt looks like a flyer for, like, a computer repair store. Like, that t-shirt stinks. Evil's merch is pretty good. Like, anything with, like, scythes, I'm pretty down with. And the graphics are, like, really clean, pretty great. Bushi, he's kind of dedicated to having all white clothing, so fuck that, dude. Like, I'm a messy eater. I'm gonna get that shit dirty. And sadly, like, Sonata's line, Cold Skull, that sounds a little weird. I guess depending on what character, like, Los Ingobernables gets for their Tekken collaboration, they're gonna get one. I'm feeling kind of mild about their merch these days, so I'm gonna give them a B-. How do you feel about LIJ merch in 2017?
Yeah, I feel pretty much the same exact way. I mean, I knew eventually it was going to start going downhill because there's really nothing you could do. Like, it's going to happen eventually with everything. I do like Bushi stuff. I would never buy a $50 hoodie that was all white, like, that was wrestling stuff, because, I mean, that's just asking for it. Yep. But I mean, if you are a real clean wrestling fan and you want to get something that, like, literally no one else will ever buy, I would definitely get that. But yeah, that Keep Calm shit, like, I know Japan's on a different wave than us, but that has to be played out over there too. That can't be a new thing. They just found out, but
I would think,
I don't know. Yeah. That Naito flea market shirt, like, I don't even like that. I do like all Evil stuff. I still like the logo stuff. I like all of Evil stuff. I like the Cold Skull stuff. I would never buy it or anything. Yeah. But yeah, I feel the same way. It's a B-. It's still respectable, but it's like, I don't see them ever releasing anything else again that I'm going to really want, but hey, maybe I'm wrong.
You're next.
Oh, yeah, so we'll go back to WWE. Next up is Bayley, who is the women's world champion right now. Bayley's an interesting one because I don't think she probably sells as much merch as in real life, basically, as you would imagine just, like, watching her Twitter, because I think we follow her, so she retweets everything, so It seems like everybody owns a Bayley shirt. And I think she's a really interesting case because, honestly, if they didn't sell these shirts to adult men, I think she would just have an A+ line. She has, like, I love, like, all of her stuff if it was for kids. I think that jacket's awesome. I think all the hug stuff is awesome, but if you were 8 years old, and that's the problem. You should not sell a black shirt that says, "Can I get a hug?" That's in, like, a masculine sort of font, because a dude is going to buy that, and that's mad creepy. Like, that is just as bad as wearing a shirt that says MILF Hunter on it. And so it's like, it's a really interesting case, because otherwise, I think all her stuff is great, but since they sell it to men and men buy it, that really hurts it. So I would go B- with Bayley too.
Okay. First off, what do you think of Rob Schamberger's art?
I think WWE needs to find the names of some more artists. I think, like, a lot of stuff he does is good, but it's like that stuff where you see it enough and you're just like, okay, dude, I get it. Some of the stuff he does, I think, is like that. Again, I've mentioned it 3 times, the Asuka shirt I got. I think it's a really, really great painting. But yeah, there's other stuff that is just kind of like they made a Kurt Hawkins one, and I know that's not going to sell a lot, but there is no way anybody's going to ever see you in that shirt and ever guess that's Kurt Hawkins. And I don't know. So It's cool if you have one. I don't imagine anybody collecting all of the Rob Schamberger shirts though. But there is probably a small fan base that's like, oh man, he's the best. But there's just people who aren't cultured, basically.
Yeah, that voice is who I imagine is buying these Rob Schamberger like art shirts. Like, they're not for me, I will say. But yeah, I mean, they're really riding the I'm a hugger thing very hard. And I'm okay with it, given the demographic that this merch is for. And I think it's a pretty smart lane to fill, since they're like are young girls that watch this show. But you covered it. I think the issue we both have is that people outside this demographic is buying this gear, and like it just looks unsettling when they wear it, right? So I kind of think the way they can get around this is just, don't make sizes for men in these t-shirts. Like, you brought it up. Like, can I get a hug? Like, in this black tee, it kind of looks like that KO duct tape t-shirt. Like, that shirt looks fucking menacing, man. It looks like a threat. Can I get a hug? I'd be horrified if I saw, like, a man wear that shit. Like, it scares me. Also, the side plates, like the championship belt side plates, I mean, you can sort of argue for them. But, I mean, you and I and the rest of the Virtual Pros universe knows who's funding, like, that entire racket. It's adult men. And it's not right. Like, so I guess in sum, I don't have a problem with the merch. I have a problem with the buyers. So I'm going to go C+. Let's just make it like for youths. Let's just do like a favor for everybody. It's not right if you're wearing these as an adult. The last one that I had is for the elite. So this is kind of like an all-encompassing thing where we'll cover the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Bullet Club. You know who we're talking about. The other day, I guess like last week, I posted that I'd possibly be selling those Bullet Club X Tekken t-shirts, and people like were fucking hot at the price that I posted, and it kind of proved my theory right, that Bullet Club fans are fucking broke boys. Like, I listed that Okada X Tekken tee at the same price. No one complained. But once I gave the same price for Bullet Club tees, people were like, yo, I could buy this in Japan for X amount. And I was like, okay, have fun like spending $700 on your ticket. So fuck all y'all, KS all day. I'll tax however much I want to tax for that Bullet Club tee. I don't give a shit. So I think I'm just kind of annoyed with Bullet Club t-shirt wearers. Like we were talking about Bailey adult t-shirt wearers. Like there's kind of like a stigma about it, right? Like, I don't really care about, like, anyone in Bullet Club for the most part. Like, do you, like, care about Hangman Page? Like, do you like Adam? Yeah. What's his name? Yeah, no one cares about that guy. Like, I'll give Kenny Omega his props on the hoodie because, like, that graphic suits him pretty well. Like, I know he's a fan of Mega Man, and, like, I think 8-bit designs are kind of played out, but, like, the one wing hanging off of it looks pretty good. I guess the Tokyo Pimp shirt is okay for Yujiro, even though Yujiro's not very good at wrestling. In sum, all Bullet Club and Young Bucks tees are fucking trash. The Betty Boop shirt, do you have an opinion about it?
I kind of like dumb shit like that, so I'm fine with that. But, I saw like a Tom and Jerry DDT shirt the other day, and I was like, man, I'd buy that if I could.
My final grade for Elite, linked gear, D. Hate it.
Yeah, like Bullet Club, it's like the original logo is cool. You gotta admit it, but it has become like the starter shirt for people who are like getting out of WWE. So it's like that thing. It's like when you discover punk music and you buy like a Minor Threat shirt or something, and that's like the only punk shirt you have. So you just wear that shirt all the time. So I feel like that's what Bullet Club was. And then it's just, they're like, well, let's just make all the shirts and then they'll never have to change their shirts. And they did that. They made a lot of shirts, and a lot of them are dumb. They've become a group as a whole that makes shirts that are based off of like a joke they told 10 minutes ago, and then they'll make a shirt out of it. And then people will buy that shirt, and you have to be the lamest asshole to like want to buy a shirt that is some weird wrestler inside joke that was relevant for 20 minutes. And they make stuff like that now. Again though, I mean like the original logo's cool. I do like that. I think that Tekken Hayachi like logo integration's pretty sweet. I think that like fits perfectly. I would never wear it, but it's I think it looks pretty sweet. But yeah, outside of that, I feel the same. It's just like it's too much. At least, you know, if you were really into those dudes, you would have to find a shirt you liked. So I'll give them credit for that. But yeah, I would say like D+.
Yeah, shit stinks. Yeah, the last one.
Last one is back to WWE, and it's of course Shinsuke Nakamura. He is a wrestler in SmackDown now. That's where he is, and he has, you know, his shirts for WWE so far have not been the best shirts. He just released a new one. Sorry, I'm trying to get back to the page. I fucked up. There we go. It's his new shirt is not the best, but I don't hate it. I think people are a little too harsh on it, honestly. Al had some weird Shinsuke Nakamura streetwear shirt, and I think it looks better than that, to be honest. It's the same style. It's the same style where it's like this weird, like, kind of like cut and paste graphic, just like thrown on a shirt with no real composition or anything. It's supposed to be a V, I guess, for victory. Who fuck knows? Or vibes. That's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be for the vibe. Yeah. And then there's a kind of just like a shuriken on the back, and it says Shinsuke Nakamura. And again, I would never wear this shirt, mostly just because it's super red. But again, it's like you could wear this and no one would ever know it was a wrestling shirt. And I don't really think it's that bad. But I mean, all of his other stuff is not great. He has one of the worst Rob Schamberger shirts that's black on red, and it just looks like you fucked up the screen print because it's like too dark. Putting that strong style has arrived, which is a horrible catchphrase and just like a really bad logo that's going to not age well. Putting that on bibs and onesies is like real bad. I will give him credit for whatever reason. I don't frequent WWE shop often, so maybe more wrestlers have these, but he has strong style sweatpants, and I considered buying those for a little while. He has one of those Roots of Fight rip-off shirts, which is whatever. He has like kind of like a surf logo t-shirt, which is also whatever. So none of his stuff except for the Chinese food delivery shirt is like real offensive. It's just not really that great. So yeah, I would go like, I guess just a C minus for Shinsuke Nakamura overall. I guess C, something like that.
Yeah, so I think the initial strong style is here line, like it wasn't offensive, but it like wasn't inspiring enough for me to like drop $25 for it. Like it's a little too busy for my tastes. And then they kind of went with the Chinese takeout shirts, which like, you know, between you and I weren't very popular, but I think they sold a fair amount of those t-shirts. Like I see them a lot. But I will say with this new t-shirt, like, I think if they like arranged the elements on the t-shirt differently, it could have been a pretty good shirt. Like for one, that shirt should have been black. Like it's not 1999. Like Nautica's not popping anymore. I'm not going to wear an entirely red t-shirt. Like I'm not a pizza delivery man. So let's just rock with black.
I do always like it when like people are popular enough to have their own color, but when it's red, it's just like, damn man, no one's going to want to wear that.
Exactly. I think that like, that V print with like the katana like handle and whatever, like that should have been on the back. And I think like the sleeve print, which is the vibe, I think the vibe is actually like a pretty incredible tagline for Shinsuke. Like, mind you, like, they're not designing t-shirts for us. Like, they're designing t-shirts for, like, middle America. So, like, if you think you're, like, if you're looking for cultural sensitivity in wrestling, like, forget about it. Like, they had Takemichinoku and, like, fucking, I can't even think of the other dude's name, like, off the top of my head. Funaki. Like, they had Funaki, like, speak, like, in, like, really offensive, like, overdubbed, like, whatever. Like, you're not gonna find it. So, of course, they're gonna use, like, ninja stars and, like, katana blades to like sell.
And also, I forgot to mention this. I honestly think he has a decent amount of input into his merch because it's not like it's wildly different from the stuff that he's released in Japan. It's not that much different.
You might be right. I think like that shuriken that spells out SN, like it's almost there. It's missing something. Like I know graphic design is super hard. You can't just release like a FedEx logo off top. Like, it's kind of commendable how they fit, like, his initials into that, like, ninja star, but, I do think, like, this line is going up and to the right, so I'm gonna give him a B minus. Like, it's getting better. Like, I haven't bought any of the WWE gear, but, I have some hope here. You might be right. I think he might have some input on his gear. Like, I think he had input on his song, and that fucking kills, so hopefully, they figure it out. I do want to buy some WWE Shinsuke merch. That was it. If you have any thoughts about WWE or New Japan or any other merch, email us at virtualpros64@gmail.com. last up, the mixtape. This might be my favorite mixtape segment of all time. We got Big Boss Man, Kenta Kobashi, Hornswoggle, and a fucking gem. Please stay tuned. And welcome back to Virtual Pros episode 39. If you haven't already, hit us on Instagram and Twitter at VRTL Pros. Hit us on SoundCloud, hit that heart, you know I like it, and hit us on iTunes, subscribe. To me, we got an all-time VRTL mixtape segment planned for you. Mike, you're first.
Me. Okay, you're right. Sorry. Okay, first up. My stuff I picked isn't that special, but first thing I chose was, American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, and I don't even remember what he's called, Shadow at the time.
Canadian
but it's
Shadow.
Really, yeah, Canadian Shadow, but it's really Rick Victor of the Ascension versus, Tatsuyoshi Goto and Wataru Inoue. And this is from 2003 New Japan. And this is a match I heard whispers of on Twitter like a few months ago. I heard whispers that Rick Victor was in New Japan in the early 2000s. And then somebody finally posted a video of it, like the other day. And I was like, I just gotta put this on the list. Like, I'm not even gonna watch it or see if it's good. So, I mean, it's not like, honestly, it's not the most notable match. It's basically, Daniel Bryan and the, Ascension dude with like 95% all the offense for some reason. I kinda like, vaguely remember Tatsutoshi Goto. He still wrestled like recently, right?
I have no idea who these Japanese dudes are.
I feel like Goto was like around for a minute, and I kind of vaguely remember him, but the other dude, yeah, I have no fucking idea. So maybe they're just jobbers, and that's the reason they got beat so bad by these dudes, because like Daniel Bryan was not the Daniel Bryan he would be. And Rick Victor, I will give him credit, he had a lot more hair back then. His Danzig tattoo, which was my most like curious thing. I was like, I wonder if he had the Danzig tattoo back then. He still had the Danzig tattoo. It's nice and fresh though. It's very dark. It's nice. It's not all faded like it is now. And like, yeah, you would honestly never imagine this is the guy in the Ascension. Not because he was a workhorse or anything, but you're just like you just always assumed he was like just one of those meatballs that they just like picked up from somewhere that, just like never wrestled before he came to NXT. But it turns out he wrestled in Japan, in New Japan, and everybody loves New Japan. His finisher back then was a crazy frog splash, so I'm gonna give him credit for that. I wouldn't say he was a high flyer, but he definitely has way more moves than you would expect a Rick Victor to have. So if you were also a fan of the Ascension, which you're not, check out this match, because that's about all I have to say about it.
I only had 2 notes, and one you've answered, which is why did you pick this? So that's answered. Secondly, how old do you think Victor is?
I think he's fucking super old, man. So he's probably like late 20s here.
So I don't know. For some reason, I watched this match and I was like, "Please, God,
Wait, no, that would be way too old. Like early 20s, I don't know. Something, I don't know.
So I watched this match and I was like, dude, if I'm older than Victor, like I might just walk out like on my window right now. But he's 36. So I looked that up. I don't know why I got the panics about it, but he's older than me. I was very happy. What a weird match. Nothing really to add aside from that. The next match we'll cover is Kenta Kobashi, Jun Akiyama, Mitsuharu Misawa versus Dr. Death, Steve Williams, Big Boss Man, and Richard Slinger, 9/29/1993. Mike, can you tell me anything off the top of your head about Richard Slinger?
Didn't even write down his name. Didn't know who the fuck it was. I was just like, I was trying to listen so hard to the commentary to like decipher it, and I was like, I don't recognize any of the words this guy's saying. I had a friend over, so we just started talking, so I lost interest. But I was like, I hope this isn't some fucking guy I'm supposed to know, because I definitely don't know him.
So right when I started this match, given the people involved, I was like, well, Richard Slinger, he's eating the pin in this, because who the fuck is this guy? Off the bat, I'm like reminded of how incredible Big Boss Man's uppercuts look. I'm guessing they look that good because he's really duffing people in the fucking face with these uppercuts. I think I remember reading something about how Tommy Dreamer complimented Terry Funk's punches, and he was like, wow, they look so good. And then he found out that Terry Funk would just hit people in the forehead. So This is why I think these uppercuts look really good, is because he's really duffing people. There's some brawling outside, and they show Giant Baba. He's on the call, by the way. He is just lounging in some pickup basketball gear. Like, he has a gray t-shirt and some basketball shorts. And that made me, like, really happy to see. Mitsuharu Misawa's Cyclone Clothesline. This has to be top 10 coolest looking wrestling moves ever. Like, fight me about it. It is so good looking. This is a pretty snug match, but I will say that Boss Man looked pretty out of place. Like, I guess this was in 1993, so he's coming off of his WWF run. He's trying to wrestle like a WWF style match. Like, he looks out of place because he's wearing his cop outfit. Everyone else is wearing like their normal, like whatever outfits. And they're all doing their hard man, all Japan moves. But, I think for spectacle alone, it's worth watching. What'd you think?
Yeah, I like this match. I am not gonna lie. I did have people over, so I was not paying that much attention, but, I did like this match, and yeah, I had the same note that it's very weird to see Big Boss Man in his uniform. Not only because it's so out of place, but it's like just sad because WWF owns that uniform, so it's just like, dude, you didn't make enough money where you could have maybe got something that wasn't the cop outfit. But yeah, it's kind of like maybe he didn't know the deal in All Japan, and he just assumed like, oh yeah, they probably watch WWF over there. So I don't know, but it wasn't like he was out of place or anything. He fit. Steve Williams is a press slam to Misawa in this, and he does it with the greatest of ease. I know Misawa's not the biggest guy ever, but he's also not the smallest guy ever. Yeah. And he just lifts him up like, complete extension over his head, like it's fucking nothing. And it's just like, man, Steve Williams was a scary ass dude. Yeah, Giant Baba speaks in that, and like I made a comment about Giant Baba last episode about how he sounded like a cartoon elephant. And I just wanted to point out that somebody on Instagram said I said he sounded like a retarded elephant or something. Yeah. That's slander, man. I didn't
Shout out
say
to
that.
Suplexes and Blunts. I was cracking up.
Yeah, I did not say that. That is slander. I said he sounded like a cartoon elephant. I would never say that about Giant Baba. That's fucked up. But yeah, like there are people out there that listen to this that know way more about wrestling than me. So this is an honest question. Maybe Al knows, but if you notice when Giant Baba did commentary, he would talk in the beginning and then never talk again. Do you know why that is? Was he just like always on the run? Was he just like, okay, this is what's going on. I got shit to do. I'll be back in a minute.
I didn't notice that he dipped like halfway through the match, so I don't have any idea.
He does that in literally every single match that I've ever seen, like hear him do commentary. And so if anybody, even in the video game it happens, like you'll hear him in the beginning and then he goes away. So if anybody knows the reason why Giant Bob is only in the beginning of every single wrestling announcer commentary thing and then just dips, let me know, because I've been curious since I was a kid. Outside of that, Kobashi hits, I only put mullet guy because I didn't know his name, Richard Slinger, at the time. Kobashi gives a lariat to Richard Slinger that looked like one of the most painful things I've ever seen happen in a fucking All Japan ring. And that's saying a lot because they're pretty painful guys, but he just fucking knocks the shit out of this dude. Unless he's like the best bump guy ever or something, but like, holy shit, man. He hit him hard. But yeah, again, this is just another great All Japan style match, and it's definitely worth a watch. Next up is a non-All Japan style match, though. It is, last episode, Al made me watch the the NXT kissing contest. And as I stated, I let the YouTube run, and it just went to the next related video, which was, the version I saw was just titled 5-Man Royal Rumble. And I was like, huh, that's odd. I wonder why they did a 5-Man Royal Rumble. And then I just completely stopped paying attention, and I was like looking at my phone or something. And then I wasn't listening or anything. And then I looked up and I saw Hornswoggle fighting a mini Ken Kennedy. And I was like, the fuck is this? Like, I was just shocked. I was just like, what the fuck is going on? So I just like rewound it and started all over again. And I was just like, I can't believe I've never seen this before. This is like my dream. This is just a bunch of tiny versions of wrestlers fighting in a Royal Rumble. And I was just fucking losing it. And, it kind of like peters out. It turns into like some angle with Great Khali at the end. And then you're just like, he's going to murder all the midgets, and he doesn't. But, outside of that, so yeah, there's a mini Ken Kennedy. There's a mini Mankind, which we've seen before. He's been around. There's a mini Batista, and I think they ruined a perfect idea, which they could have done. He does the Batista, he does the whole Batista machine gun entrance, and it's really funny, but at the same time, it would have been way more funny instead of the normal pyro, they gave him like those little like twirly firecrackers. They just put on the floor, light up, that spark for a little while. And like, so when he did the guns, it was just like little tiny firecrackers going off. That would have been fucking amazing. Rewind that, like go back WWE Network and put in my effects. It'll be way better. Then there's a mini Kane back when Kane was bald and didn't wear a mask. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, then Great Khali comes out. Outside of that, it's dumb. I mean, it's just midget wrestling, but, I'm sure this isn't true, but, Jim Ross is on commentary. This is like mid 2000s, I think this happened. Jim Ross is on commentary, and it sounds like he's really bothered by all this, where he's just like, I fucking can't believe what's going on right now. Like, I've only heard him, the only other time I've heard him super bummed, like audibly super bummed, is when they changed Billy Gunn's name to Mr. Ass. Like the first few times he had to call this dude Mr. Ass, you could tell he was like super upset. And, I feel like he had those feelings when they were like, yo dude, we're gonna do this midget match, and they're gonna dress up like real wrestlers. Anyways, Al, how did you feel about the 5-man mini Royal Rumble?
Yeah, so I had no idea they had 5 minis at one time on Raw. I was pretty shocked. I could only imagine how hard you were smiling when like mini Mr. Kennedy came out, and they had that bit where like he couldn't reach the mic. Like I bet you were on the floor just laughing.
Yes.
Hornswoggle, he hits a pretty serious clothesline on Mr. Kennedy, and then like he gorilla press slams him over the top rope.
Yeah, that was impressive.
It's like a pretty impressive feat of strength. Like Hornswoggle, you're a strong man. My last note is Mini Kane. He comes out, and for some reason, I'm reminded of the Kane theme that had like really soulful white man lyrics over it.
Yeah.
Do you remember that theme?
I vaguely remember it, but yeah, it's like kind of acoustic. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. They should bring that theme back. It was pretty good. The last video of the night, I picked it. I'll own up to it. I don't care. It's titled JWP Farewell to My Wife. This is the same guy that uploaded that 6-man All Japan tag we talked about. So this guy is just in the dungeon, just uploading gems. So this clip is from a wrestling variety TV show. It's called Ringu no Tamashi, which roughly translates to Ring of the Soul. It aired from 1994 to 2000. This clip specifically is from 1994. This show is hosted by 2 perverts that do all kinds of zany shit with Japanese wrestlers. I think they have skits with like, Super Delphin, like they'll like have like trivia things with him. I think there's a segment where they try to goad, Hickson Gracie into a fight. And, I think I might have uploaded it like a year ago to our IG where they had like, Akira Maeda like fondle some boobs through this like glory hole window. Shout out to John Thorne with the window chat. So that's their entire deal, right? This is what we're dealing with here. And so, they have a guest host here today, and it's, Yoshiaki Fujiwara. He's very famous for being an old grumpy ass man. And, he invented an armbar, which is a move that, like, to this day, it kind of gives me the willies because, like, you can absolutely snap someone's arm in half if you really wanted to, if you, like, lock someone in the Fujiwara armbar. So the premise is, it's a 15-minute video. The premise is, it's like a tried and true Japanese comedy bit where, like, you're fucking with people while they're sleeping. It's kind of like the American Pie to the Face. And, this time around, it's like with a roster of JWP, which is like a Joshi promotion that's led by the likes of Devil Masami, Cutie Suzuki, what's up if you're listening, and Mayumi Ozaki. The first part of the vid, they're at a hotel, by the way. The first part of the vid, like, the hosts, like, they open the door and they think they're breaking into Cutie Suzuki's room. By the way, Cutie Suzuki is a very cute lady. If the name didn't tell you. They presume, like, that's Cutie Suzuki. And so they walk into this room and they see, like, a bra hanging from the shower rod. And, like, one of the hosts, like, he proceeds to put it on. And I'm like, shit, this is gold. I fucking did it. I found it. And then, like, he walks up to the bed with, like, someone, like, there's a body, like, in this bed, like, wrapped up in a comforter. And, like, he, like, proceeds to, like, lurk snuggle them. Like, he's just, just, I can't even describe it. You need to watch it. And then, like, he tries to draw, like, something, like, on their face, but it's not Cutie Suzuki. Like, he gets yoked up. It's, Devil Masami. For those that don't know, she kind of looks like Akira Hokuto, but a little scarier. And so, they just kind of botched it here, right? So the next clip, they're in front of Cutie Suzuki's room, right? So they open the door. They have the room key. And so the same host, that put on the bra, he goes in the bathroom. He finds a toothbrush there and he's super excited. And then he smells it. And I just start to fucking yell. Like, it was like 12 o'clock in the morning. I was like, oh my God, this is fucking ridiculous. And then, like, fucking Operation, like, board game style, he puts it in his mouth. Like, he doesn't touch, like, any of, like, the toothbrush in his mouth, but he just puts it, like, inside of his mouth, and he is just ecstatic. And I didn't know what to say. I was speechless. Meanwhile, Fujiwara, he sees a bath towel and he starts to smell it, and I fucking lose it. Like, in the interest of time, like, they break into Mayumi Ozaki's room and try to get measurements while she's sleeping. And they break into one person's room. I don't know who it is, but they, like, set off, like, some kind of balloon to wake her up. It's a lot of Fujiwara trying to, like, snuggle up on these chicks. This is a must watch. Like, and it would be so problematic if, like, they redid this, like, with Stardom. This was so weird. Mike, what'd you think?
So yeah, everything Al just said, if you go and watch this video, just pretend you didn't know any of that, because that's how I watched it. I watched it. I didn't even see the farewell to my wife part. All I could see is JWP. I tried to translate it. It didn't go through. And I was just like, oh, I don't know what this is. Keep in mind, I watched this with a person who has watched like 3 wrestling things in his life. And, it's Mark from Kissing Contest. And he is like, I am his only exposure to wrestling. So he's seen like WrestleMania with me and then like clips here and there of Raw or whatever. So I was like, yeah, I got to watch these things before I do the podcast. So like, we're watching them and this one comes on and, it's just the 2 guys in the beginning and I turn to him jokingly and I go, I bet these guys are perverts. And we're just like, we just like laugh about it. And then, yeah, then Fujiwara, who I had no fucking idea. I'm not that good. He walks in with this fucking sweet, White Sox windsuit. And I think he's carrying a Hennessy or something. He's carrying something in his hand. It looked like a bottle of Hennessy or Maker's Mark. It probably wasn't though, but, and he's like, yeah, come along with me. And they break into the first hotel room and he goes into that thing and he puts the bra on. And I was like, holy shit, dude, they are perverts. Like, this is like a pervert thing. And then I was just like, I started groaning. I was just like, I can't, like, this is just gonna get worse and worse. And like, cause I was like, it can't be that worse. I mean, they filmed it, like, you know, they showed it and on TV probably at some point in time. So it can't be that bad. But no, it just gets worse and worse, man. It's just like, the fucking, when he's taking the measurements, like Fujiwara or one of them like kisses her feet. And it's just like, how can you show this? The thing, Al amazingly went over I would put this over the toothbrush thing. The one part that like really, I was like, I can't, I was just like, this is fucking ridiculous, was when they do the balloon trick thing. Fujiwara lifts up the girl's blanket near her ass area and wafts his hand to sniff under the blanket. And I was just like, I was just like, no, like there's no way they showed this. This is like some special fetish club video that you could fucking buy. Like, it was just insane. So yeah, and then it ends, and it's just like, like everybody's all happy with what happened. Like all these women are happy that they got sexually harassed in their sleep. And, yeah, it just made me think, guys, like, I know, there are way more creeps in the women's wrestling audience than there are men's with hearts of gold. But it really is time to drop the act that you only like women's wrestling for the athleticism. You cannot use Japanese wrestling as an example anymore, because this shit was from like 1990 something, and they were doing the most perverted shit you have ever seen in your life to women wrestlers. And, yeah, it's not like, they wrestle just as good as the guys. And you know what else? They're hot too. So it's okay to just, be cool with that. I think these dudes went a little too far in being cool with that. But, as long as you just admit it and you're not a creep about it, it's cool. But just use this as an example. You don't want to end up like these people. And so you just gotta let it out. It's just gotta be natural. You gotta let it out. You can't bottle it up. But, yeah, definitely watch this video because it was the worst. It was the worst thing I've ever watched in my life.
It was kind of a lesson for everybody. You should watch how Joshi was treated in the mid-90s.
Yeah, it is a lesson.
That was episode 39 of the Virtual Pros podcast. If you have any questions for us, any questions, email us at virtualpros64@gmail.com. We're one away from 40, Mike. How does that make you feel?
That makes me feel great. I mean, it's still a low number, so we've still got time, but we're kind of at a good age where I think it's going to happen. It's going to really happen for us.
Next week, Vert Bros, episode 3. After that, I think we might record. No, we're not going to record. We'll figure it out. But 40, it'll be a special episode. That was episode 39, though. Thanks for listening.